I have had some people ask me about rendering fat. Specifically in this case, it's lard. I had an offer from some good friends of mine saying they was butchering some pigs and wanted to know if I wanted the fat. And I said, thank you much, yes. So usually I put it in a crock pot, and I've done that for many years. But this time there was quite a bit. And so I decided to cook some in the crock pot and some in the pan. The one in the crock pot, I put the fat in there. I turn it on high until it gets hot. I turn it on medium until it gets wet. And then I turn it back on high. And when I say wet, I mean about halfway full of oil. As it fills up with oil, I take some of the oil out and I add more fat in. But because there was so much this time, I decided I would try to do some in a pan again. And I'm glad I did in the pan and in the crock pot, because I almost done it just in the pan. But you see this stuff? It is so clear. You can see down to the bottom. And I have moved between the pan and the crock pot, some of it back and forth. I've scooped out liquid and added more fat from the pan. And this is the pan. The problem with doing it in a pan is you put it in the pan, you start it on low, and you stir. And you keep stirring until it's wet. And you start out with just a little bit, just enough to cover the pan, and keep stirring with your burner on low to medium low. And after a while, it starts to liquefy, and you can add a little bit more. And you need to keep adding in fat, but you need to keep stirring is the main problem. On this one, I did not add the fat in until it had been cooking for a few hours. Did I add more fat and take out some of the lard. This one took a couple hours worth of adding fat. You can't even see hardly down in there. This one has set and settled, and you still can't hardly see in it. While this one, you can see to the bottom. There's only about 2, maybe a scant 3 inches. I'm filling on the outside of the pan. Nope, it's about 2 inches. This one is full to the top, and the oil is completely clear. It looks like it's boiling in water. I will always recommend doing it in a crock pot, and the next batch I will freeze it up in sections and start it out in the crock pot on low until it gets some oil in it. In the bottom of the crock pot, I might even add a few scoops of this oil back into it, and then turn it up to medium until it's defrosted, and then leave it on high to cook. It's much better if you can take the time to go ahead and grind up the fat, but I didn't have that. So what I do is I just kind of play with it, chop it. I've left this one for as much as 4 hours, and it was no problem. This one was on a much lower temperature, and I got busy and left it for an hour, and I had to stop cooking because it stuck to the bottom, and it burnt on the bottom. So do as you choose. If you're going to do it in a pan, I would probably do a wet render, and if I have a big batch that I have to get done, that's probably what I'll do. This is going to be for cooking. This I will clean up and get it water bathed in there with probably a little bit of baking soda in the water, and run it through a couple of cleanings, and this is going to be for soap. So difference between on the stove and in the crock pot. It's not only the product, but the ease and the time it takes. Anyways, y'all have a good day. God bless. And keep busy.